For USCFootball.com, I'm Keely Eure here with Dan Weber for instant analysis of day 2 of USC's fall camp. It was another no pads day. A lot of install. Clay Helton said that some kids' heads were swimming because of that. But Dan, what were your overall thoughts of today's practice?
I think it was a good thing today that Clay pretty much lost his voice because he didn't have to go that long. He didn't have to answer a lot of questions and probably didn't have to say some of the things I think he might have been thinking because he wasn't happy today. I mean, and you know, as far as I'm concerned, you know, it's one of those zero-sum games where if the offense is struggling, a lot of times that's because of the defense has decided we're not going to let you do what you did yesterday, and they really come after him, which I think is the idea here. They did all kinds of 7-on-7 periods, and the defense really scrapped like crazy. And they've got one of the things you notice there are a lot of good receivers, and a lot of kids that can run and catch it, and guys that can throw it to them, but they didn't have any open windows today.
No, someone on the sideline described it as a big brother picking on a little brother. It was just a dominant day for the defense. But as Clay Helton said, they had more install, so it's more of a disadvantage to the offense. But what did you see from some of the veteran guys who were out there?
Well, you know, on defense, you see a lot of, I just think, leadership, and you just kept hearing the defense just getting into it more and more. You see Jenny Harris made another one of those plays where he's the only guy breaking on the ball, you know, and Jack Sears had gotten it going, and he was the first quarterback to go in 7-on-7, hit his first 3 passes. The 4th pass he throws over the middle, and the only guy breaking on the ball is Jenny, and he gets a diving interception. That's 2 in 2 days. He just, like, you know, the fact that he was a quarterback, he just seems to understand. He sees the plays, he sees the formations, and he just has this sixth sense about him. So, you know, he might be the number 5 back, but he's playing with a sixth sense, and he's been the guy, I think. And today it was just kind of a team effort. Yeah. You know, from the defense. I think there was one moment, Clay said he really enjoys these kinds of moments, but there was one moment where he said, I think Bubba Bolden and Amon-ra are having a discussion after this play. And Clay said he's very happy to see that kind of a thing. And I think the defense had made a decision. They were not going to let him run the offense like they did yesterday, and they didn't. And But when you look at the defense, there's just a lot of, you see an interesting mix. You know, a lot of older guys. You see guys coaching up younger guys because they got a lot of young talent. And it's, you know, I think it's the kind of mix you think ought to be dominant. Clay, after practice, when we challenged him about, I know in the athletic yesterday, they picked out some of the teams in the coaches' rankings that they thought were overrated. And one of them was USC at number 15. And the 2 factors were undecided quarterback situation, and USC is going to rest an awful lot of its hopes on a defense, which, as Stuart Mandel pointed out, was number 66 in the nation last year in yards per play given up. And that's not very good. I think it was 68 in total defense. So I know a lot of people can say, well, that was just because they'd have a breakdown here or there and give up a 40-yard play or whatever. But, yeah, you subtract those 40 yards and it makes a big difference. But that's the thing that I think they have to, you know, prove to people, like somebody like a really smart guy like Stuart Mandel, that this is going to be a different year. Clay said it is. I mean, he could not have, backed up his defense anymore after practice when we asked him. But I think that's the thing you're seeing, and I think if you're a USC fan, you hope you get to see that every day.
Yeah. And because of that competitiveness in practice, Clay Helton was asked about the defense and what they do for the quarterbacks, and Helton made sure to point out it's only going to get harder for the quarterbacks. He said that today's 7-on-7 periods were the last that they're going to see for a while. It moves up to just solely team periods, so there's going to be a lot of pressure on the quarterbacks, and I think that's when we're going to see what they're made of.
Yeah, I mean, you know, they're going to go to shells Monday, Tuesday, and then full pads on Wednesday. And, you know, I really like the idea that, I mean, you know, we did see some 11-on-11 today, and we saw 2 11-on-11s at once. I mean, I don't think we've ever seen that before. I mean, I don't know how that works, because that might be too many things happening at once. You know, too many too many people to watch, too much noise, too much, too much everything. But I think it indicates where they want to go and how much pressure they want the quarterbacks to be under. And I think you got to like that. You got to like the fact that they speeded things up. You got to like the fact that the defense knows that for this team to be good, they have to make the offense good and make the offense able to play against people like Ohio State and Notre Dame, where they really weren't ready to play last year. So, I think that kind of coming together with the coaches also saying this is how we want it to be in practice is a good thing, even if it gives you some rough spots like today for the offense.
Yeah. But speaking of individual play on the offense, what did you see from each quarterback? Did anything stand out to you?
Well, I think you start with JT. The thing is, when they look at guys for the NFL draft, they look at, and these were, the first round guys last year. Can they throw the ball outside the numbers? And he throws the ball outside the numbers so easily. I mean, he makes that it look like a dump-off pass. I mean, he just, the first two passes he made, both were, deep outside the numbers, that he just, the ball just gets there. I mean, it's just there perfect, timing. And he still, got a lot to learn. For example, he was running a screenplay, and Brandon Peely looked like he was shot out of a cannon. I mean, Brandon Peely was basically in his face. And, normally you'd have time to, execute it and dump the ball off. And by the time he dumped the ball off, Brandon Peely was right there and, almost had a, pick six. So, but I think, JT does throw all the passes and throws them really well. But I thought, Matt and Jack both, they're significantly improved over the spring. I don't think there's any question. And then Jack comes out. I thought, he got the first go round today, and the first three passes. I mean, he's really sharp and really going, and then he, throws the interception over the middle. So, it wasn't a perfect day, for any of them, but I think the thing I think separates the quarterbacks to some extent is if it's going to be Matt or JT, I think you have to incorporate their ability to run the ball into the offense. What you think about USC is they didn't really want to do that last year with Sam Darnold. I'm not sure that's ever going to be something USC is going to incorporate into their offense, where they really work at it and really believe in it. Because I think, for those two, that's the thing that separates them from other people, is that ability to, pull the ball down and take off with it. And it makes it harder to defend. If it's going to come down to just the ability to throw the ball, you think that really plays into JT's hands. So that's kind of where it is right now. We'll see how it goes. I think every day, I mean, they're competing. I wasn't sure it was going to be a competition, and the way Matt and Jack have come here, it is, and good for them. I think they've done a nice job, and I do think it's going to take into that maybe last week before we get somebody named.
Mm-hmm. As far as injuries go, both Cam Smith and Keely Eure had some hamstring issues. They both were sidelined. Keely Eure actually spent the whole time on the trainer's table with some ice on his leg. So Helton said that's day to day. What did you see from those two as far as injuries go?
Well, I mean, I think the good thing is that they don't think either one of them is that serious, and they get a day off tomorrow, and they don't have to come back till so maybe 48 hours off of them, and they don't have to come back on Monday either. I like the idea that they, are pulling them and saying you're not, 4 weeks from today, so you don't have to do anything today, and you don't have to prove anything and all that. I like the fact that they're not messing around. Saying, come on out, we got plenty of guys. I think that gets them ready for the season again with all the depth. I know. Playing inside middle linebacker, Levi Jones had one of the great plays of the day. He broke up a pass probably 30 yards downfield, and he can run, he can fly. He knew where the ball was. Just a terrific play. So a guy like that will get, maybe more opportunity, and that's great.
Yeah, but Ruben Peters actually filled in for Cam Smith at that spot. Helton also let us know today that there will be 3 live scrimmages. The first one next week. One of them will be a mock game in the Coliseum. What are you looking forward to? I mean, we're a week away. What are you going to look for at that first scrimmage?
I'm going to look for where we're going to be sitting in the press box, to be honest now. That's going to be interesting. It looks like they've gotten ahead of schedule. The field looks pretty good. They only get the two chances, and I just think the environment is going to be different. And I think it's really, just 2 times, but that's better than nothing. And so, just I think the whole how is it going to feel in the Coliseum? It's going to be a different place.
Yeah.
And how is it going to feel? And the turf is. I don't know that the turf's going to be that different because they put it down each year, and they changed it once last year during the season. So I don't know that that's absolutely going to be something that you have to adjust to. But we'll take a look at that too. I think it'd be interesting. As much as you're looking at this team, you're also going to be looking at the Coliseum next Saturday.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's going to wrap it up for day 2 of fall camp. We're off tomorrow, but we'll be back on Monday. For Dan Weber, I'm Keely Eure. For more, check out uscfootball.com.